Welcome to another episode of Roll or Die. Been wanting to get this guy on for quite a while now, and initially we were waiting until a time when he doesn't have a black eye, but then we realised that that's probably never going to happen. So he is the current under 70 kilo fusion fighting champion. He is our friend and teammate. He's a purple belt. He's got one of the most exciting jiu-jitsu games in the Australian scene. Really looking forward to chatting today with Juzzy Robertson. Thanks for joining us, Juzzy.
Thanks, guys. Been really keen to get on this. Just love what you guys are doing. So yeah, keen to have a chat.
Your jiu-jitsu doesn't lift your profile, mate. We'll do it for you. First question, Juzzy. Your black eyes, mate. You're almost synonymous. I was talking to you just before we pressed record, and I was taking the piss out of you with them. Then Kim jumps in, and she talks about it straight away. Why do you pass with your face so much, mate?
I don't know. I just like a bit of natural makeup when I come off. I don't know. I really like. I tell everyone in the gym I like to scrap. I like to, work hard for like passes, work hard for takedowns. Like I kind of just send it, and like just my favorite way to roll. And luckily enough, it's exciting for people to watch as well, which is awesome. But not luckily enough, he's gonna be looking like this half the time. And most of the time I don't remember how, which is probably not great either. But yeah, it's just a style that I've built, and I really enjoy the way that I roll when I roll like that.
We say this every week, or I say this every week. Jump on YouTube and watch these. This one is probably a great one to watch on YouTube. Like Juzzy's big face with that black eye on YouTube on your high definition TV.
Yeah.
Watching. So yeah, jump on the YouTubes for this one, I reckon.
100%. I'll give you a little zoom up for those. There it is, guys. But yeah, no, you probably see me, like, if you see me around the gym, you probably see me more often than not with a black eye.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I didn't mention to any of our listeners that may not know, you're only 21 years old. So you've come through the kids program at Dominance, and now you're coaching as a coach there as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that, about how you started jiu-jitsu and what it was like coming through in the kids program?
All right. Well, it goes back quite before jiu-jitsu even. I've always been, pretty active in martial arts. Like I did karate, ever since I was probably about, 7 years old. Got my black belt, which probably isn't the hardest thing to do in karate, but got that. And then I was initially looking for a Muay Thai gym. Like I wanted to do MMA, but I wanted to, stick with striking. And then I kind of saw Dominance pop up, Dominance Thomastown. I think this is when Link was maybe a purple belt, potentially a brown belt. And yeah, I wanted to get into the Muay Thai, but there was no Muay Thai for kids. So I saw Jiu-Jitsu for kids, and I was about to sign up for that. And then Link injured himself. I think it was his shoulder or his knee. So I had to wait and extend, 6 months or so. And then jumped into the kids when it was there, and then haven't looked back since. Just kind of been trolling on since then. Yeah.
The story I tell everyone, Juzzy, it's about you. It's similar to what you just told people.
Yeah.
I don't know where I heard this, but as a kid, you were like, "Oh, I want to be a fighter. Like, I want to get into UFC or something, right?" And your parents were like, "Oh, I think we need to get this boy into martial arts or into something, right?" Is that kind of true?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, it was more so MMA. Yeah, I wanted to do MMA, and then I guess I kind of fell in love with jiu-jitsu. And even though I still cop black eyes and stuff every so often, like I think me and my family would agree it's probably safer on the body, on the mind. And I love it so much more. So just been doing that ever since. I still did Muay Thai for I think it was 4 or 5 years. So I was kind of doing half jiu-jitsu in the kids, and then half Muay Thai. But then once I kind of picked up competitively, jiu-jitsu was full time. Yeah.
Do you think it's helped for you as a coach, having been on the other side, like as a kid, like especially coaching the kids? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I'm still a bit of a kid, so I can kind of relate to them, a little bit better. And at the end of the day, you want it to be enjoyable. Like I enjoy it. I know that Link enjoy. I know you guys enjoy it. That's why you guys do it. You don't do something for that long if you don't enjoy it. So I know that if I can kind of build that spark for these kids, so they love doing jiu-jitsu. It's better for their confidence, better for all these things. If they love it, then that's the main thing. So that's kind of what I'm trying to build in them, because that's what was built in me through Link, through all the other coaches that helped me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask you, Juzzy. What grabbed you about jiu-jitsu, mate?
So many different things. Just I think it was more so like the confidence, you know, and this was, I'd say, more so when I went into the adults. Yeah, so I started as a kid. I was a chubby kid. I was heavier than what I am now, and jiu-jitsu was like a bit of like, oh, you take double leg and then you lay on top of the other kid because they're probably about 20 kilos lighter than you. And I was like, oh, it's pretty easy, not too bad. And then Link bumped me up to the adults, and it was a whole different story. So confidence, kind of went down. I'm like, oh, I'm not as good at this as what I thought it was, and I've got to work a little bit harder now. And then
What age were you when you started doing adults? Did he wait till you were 18, or did he send you in a bit earlier?
I started jits when I was just about 12, so I was in the kids class then, and then I think it was about it would have been 6 to 12 months of kids, and then I jumped to the adults. So it would have been like 13. I was a big kid though. I was a big kid, um, so that wasn't too hard of an issue, like hard of a choice for Link to choose. And I spent most of my time drilling with like little Chris, little Chris, and he would just flog me every day. It was horrible. But that's kind of what gave me that confidence, because I lost the confidence, and then like you slowly learn in yourself, like, all right, I'm just gonna work hard at this. You slowly start seeing progress, and then 9 years down the track, and I've done so much, which is kind of teaches you to work hard, and then gives you that confidence to back yourself to do things that you can never imagine, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
One of the
Yeah.
things that was, and we'll get on to your competitive career pretty soon, but one of the things that I've always admired about you is the support that your family give you and your siblings as well, mate. Can you talk us through that? Because sometimes we do sports, and especially a little bit of a niche sport.
Yeah.
And like like for me, as a kid growing up, I was playing soccer, and my stepdad was like, "I don't follow that, mate. If you play rugby, I'll come and watch you, but I don't follow
Yeah.
it, so I don't give a shit what you're doing."
Yeah.
So you're now doing jiu-jitsu as a 12-year-old kid. How was the family support, mate?
Yeah, always massive support from the family. Like my family, the kind of rule is like, if you're happy, we're gonna back you. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's how you should be as a parent, as a friend, as anyone really. Like, if you're happy doing what you do, regardless if you know about it or not, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be backing you from start to finish. So that's kind of the support I got from my family, and it hasn't stopped. It's only grown ever since. Like, you see them all at the events. You see them all. If they can make it to some of the local comps, they make it to the comps. Yeah, it's amazing to have that backing for sure. Yeah, yeah.
And you've always been competitive. You've always been keen to compete, or like, what was that like for you coming through?
Well, I was always a competitor. Like, always super like stubborn to win. If I didn't win, I would get angry. Not happy with that. Not happy with myself. That kind of mentality. And I always competed in karate. And it was like non-contact, so it was like point sparring. But I did a bunch of competitions when I was a kid. Um, and then transitioned to Muay Thai. Did a couple of inter clubs at Muay Thai. And then yeah, jits, same thing. Like, wanted to be the best I can be. So it was pretty much, I think I started competing maybe a couple years in. Yeah, maybe less. I'd have to look back, but I started competing as a kid straight away, pretty much. Yeah.
How did you find those early comp days, as a kid, and then going into the adult sort of divisions, or, those sort of higher teen divisions?
Um. Well, so the teens were good and bad, depending on what draw I'd get. So I was a big kid, of course. So what would happen was I would get the highest, age, highest weight, because those dominance comps that we used to do, I don't know if you remember those at Richmond. Yeah, those there weren't a whole lot of kids, so they kind of just bunched kids together that were similar size, rather than age type thing. So I ended up having some matches with now brown belt Angus, who was a green belt at the time, and I would just get flogged, So it was kind of like one of those things where it was a good learning curve, and then obviously that fed really well into training with the adults, which gave me that confidence. Like, hey, I've rolled with, you know, blue, purple belt, brown belts, and it kind of gives me that confidence, that skill behind me to keep competing. Yeah, and then like you said with the adults, that was a bit of a jump as well, because I was I think it was a yellow belt. Only I ever got up to yellow belt, and I was probably about 14, 15 when I jumped into the dominance blue belt division. And it actually went okay. Like, I lost a bunch of my matches, but I was competitive, which I could start seeing. I could start reaching, which was really cool, and kind of once again gave me that backing to train really hard. Yeah.
And you do compete, locally, interstate, internationally. And why is it that you only book your flights from Avalon? Why don't you book them from Tullamarine?
I did not expect that. You've done your research. Fair enough. Yeah. Because I'm just not very switched on. My mind is only on jits half the time. So I just book flights, and I'd see Melbourne. I'm like, oh yeah, Melbourne, cool. I've done that twice now. Yeah.
For everybody who's not from Melbourne, we've got two airports. One of them's Tullamarine, which is where like everybody flies out of, and then one of them is Avalon, and that's where nobody flies out of. For some reason, Juzzy keeps booking the Avalon flights.
It's
peaceful there.
there.
It's peaceful there. Yeah. That's quiet.
The money you save from picking Tullamarine, you got to spend in petrol to get to
100%.
To Avalon anyway, yeah.
I'm in the north, so it's like an hour or so away. So yeah, plenty of petrol spent, especially nowadays.
Yeah,
big money spent there. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, 100%.
Your competitive career, it's obviously ongoing. As Kim just sort of said, local comps, interstate comps, and also the national comps that we have, plus international stuff. Number one, how do you find going from a local comp and then traveling overseas and competing on the biggest stages? Like, how do you find the difference between those?
Well, you took like internally.
Yeah,
it changed a lot.
Yeah, like internally, yeah. Like, how do you step up for the VIX, and then how do you switch that not too far after that to step up?
Yeah. Well, ideally, you want it to be the same. Like, ideally, internally, you want to be the same, but it's never going to be the case. I mean, like, you can only control yourself so much, and when there's such an atmosphere around, a Worlds where there's 20 mats, people screaming, people chanting, there's only so much you can do, but you want to almost, internally calm yourself and perform the same at every comp. So, like, we go into the VIX comps, we go into the local comps kind of as a trial run from like the surface level. Like, I'll talk with Ling, I'll say, hey, we're going to hit up, VIX, we're going to hit up New South Wales, we're going to hit up, grappling industries, and we're going to use those to kind of, build our game leading up to Worlds. Yeah. But when I actually go into those comps, I like to keep it very simple myself, I don't like to put like the big pressure on myself saying like, oh, it's Worlds, or, oh, I'm a big name or something. What if I lose it at grappling industries, that kind of thing. I just keep it simple myself, one match at a time. Tell myself, can you send it for 7 minutes? Yep, cool. That's kind of like the mindset I really like to go for. And I feel like every time I've started to overcomplicate like the stakes at hand, what techniques the other person might have, what techniques I have, that's when things start crumbling. So I find that's best internally, the way I like to look at things. Yeah.
And obviously, to travel overseas, you need a passport. Can you tell us about the time when you lost your passport at AOJ?
I didn't lose it at AOJ. Once again, just not thinking half the time, to be honest. So funny story. I had my passport, and I thought I was being smart. The place I put it underneath my laptop. Okay, because I'm like, oh, if someone tries to break into our hotel, they're never going to find my passport. It's sitting underneath my laptop. It's hidden. And then come back to the thing after hard training session at AOJ, and you're not thinking straight because you've just been bashed for 12 rounds straight. And then Ivan randomly, because I was sleeping with like Ivan was in the same hotel. He's like, "Oh, where's your passport, mate?" I don't know. I don't know where it is. Yeah. So I go looking for it. Can't find it. So we full had to start like asking the cleaning ladies, like maybe they I don't know, took it. I was getting pretty panicked. I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. I got to start sleeping somewhere on the street. Um, and then he picks up my laptop. Oh yeah, underneath there. So just the stupidest thing as well, because if someone's gonna break in, they're probably gonna take your laptop, aren't they? Yeah. So not very smart, but that's kind of me, isn't it?
I didn't want to bring if I broke into a hotel room and there's a laptop, that's probably the first thing I'll be picking up. Oh,
Yes.
there's a passport too. Oh,
Yeah.
this is great.
Oh, like perfect. Perfect is in the same spot. Great. Take those.
I reckon the perfect spot for my passport is hiding under my laptop.
Yeah. It's just, and that's the thing. Like the whole me being a kid, because I was like probably 18 at the time, and I haven't traveled overseas yet, and I was experiencing new things. Like jiu-jitsu has done so much for me. Like helping me mature. Like, yes, I'm still a kid and I still, mess up sometimes, but being able to travel overseas, being able to travel interstate, you know, do all these things, it helps you mature. It helps you build confidence, like I said. So even though I make stupid mistakes like that, you learn from them, hopefully.
One of the things I admire about you, Juzzy, is the way that you can interact with people, from like the young kids that you coach and teach every day to old masters, people like myself, right? So I
Yeah.
think it's a skill that you are very, very adept at, but you've developed that over time. And I think, the way that you travel, the way that you coach, the way that you talk to everybody, it's a massive attribute to you, mate. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's something that a lot of people either never develop, or can't develop, mate. So I'm really proud of you for that. It's very, very cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. And props to Link as well. Like Link has built such a community, and it kind of allows you to kind of come out of your shell and like talk with people, of all different ages, all different ethnicities. Doesn't really matter. Like he says, once you're on the mat, like who gives a shit? You guys roll and you be friendly after, and you learn from each other. So and you grow. And that has set like a really good example for me, and I think for everyone at the gym. So being able to like follow in those footsteps, yeah, it's just privilege. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of it as well comes from the kids program. Yeah, can you talk a bit more about that? Because it really feels like the people that come through the kids program, like yourself, Adele, etc. Like maybe it comes from that confidence that it builds. Do you think it's mostly from that, or I don't know what it is, but they all seem very mature and very respectful. The people that have come through the kids programs.
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely exposure to competing, training with adults at an early age. Like most sports, you think about like footy or rugby. Most kids kind of stick within their age limits. Like I remember when I was playing footy, it was I don't know under 12s, under 13s. Like you're not versing 25-year-old men. If you did, you'd probably die. Um, but in jits, like I was able to have that exposure from, like I said, the age of 13, and I'm sure Adele would have had similar, and I'm sure all these kids coming up would have had similar. And it's like, you come to training, you have 5 rounds, maybe 3 of those rounds with people like 25, 30 years old, peak like condition, and like being able to use your skill that you've developed over the years to compete and even win some of those rounds. It's like it's mind blowing to me. When it first started to like develop, I was like, wow, this works. Like this really works. And the hard work I put in it's like slowly, give him that edge at such a young age. Like, what could I be at their age? It kind of starts making you think like that. So yeah, that's definitely really prevalent with the kids coming up. That's probably why they're so confident and so mature as well. Spending that time around so many adults. Yeah.
And so good too.
Yeah, so good.
So good.
So good. And I'm not just referring to myself. I'm talking about all the upcomers coming in and bashing me every day.
Yeah.
So it's like it's crazy. It's crazy to see the generations change and so quickly as well. I don't know if you guys notice, but some of those kids, they go from kids to teens really quick, and they go from like this tall to this tall really quick, and you're like, oh wow, that's hard. That's a hard role. Yeah, yeah.
Tell us about finding your game, mate. So, whether it's in the gi, whether it's no gi, it doesn't seem like your game changes too much.
Yeah, so like I said, I like to put the pace on people. I really like picking up speed. And I guess it's all about, for me, it's the best way to describe it is to have that freedom to move in both gi and no gi. So I guess that my game suits more no gi because there are less grips to get a hold of. But I guess the whole game is to detangle myself from my opponent's guard or my opponent's grips, and then have that freedom to move around them, to make them overcommit, and then I take the pass, or I take my takedown. And I really like being able to kind of repeatedly, like enter into someone's guard, or shoot, and you know most people, they get shut down. You're like, oh, I can't pass this person. But I really like being able to, fail, 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 fail. Oh, number 10, I get it. And by that 10th time, the partner's, pretty cooked. And I feel like that's really, I love that type of style. So, yeah, I hope that answers, yeah. Yeah.
This next question's from our editor, Theo. Out of
Yeah.
the 3 roll or die crew, and bear in mind, there's probably no correct answer to this question. Out of Brentos, Theo, and myself, who would
Yeah.
you most like to face at a comp, and who would you least like to face in a comp?
Bloody Theo, eh?
Theo, wow, what a question. I would least like to verse Theo. Let's just put that out there. Yeah. I think that's why I asked that question, because he knew I'd say that. I think I wouldn't be able to take him down, and I think I wouldn't be able to sweep him. So I feel like he takes that win, probably. Who knows? He's a hard man to move. And I think I'd most like to take Brentos, because I feel like he'd be too nice to go hard with me. Yeah.
It's an easy W for Juzzy, that one.
No, I think it'd be a fun roll. We have fun rolls in the gym.
Would
Like me and Kim have fun rolls in the gym as well. But Kim's like, she always manages to just get those grips really. Like, she always manages to close the space.
Yeah.
And it always finds space when
So
same with like little Chris.
can see it.
Yeah. It's just it's such a hard role, such an annoying role, which is props to you. Yeah, just doing everything correct. I think me and Brent are similar size. Would have a good wrestle, I think.
It'd be fun, mate. I'll be there for
Yeah.
it. I've as you know, I'm 1 and 2 against Theo. I've got 1 win against him.
There you go. So you're better than me for sure. For so far.
There's a story.
There you go.
But it's for another time.
On that, Juzzy, I want to say thank you so much, because you said you do send it, and I see how you roll with, the other guys of your age and your rank in the gym. And I think it's mad props to you that you can slow it down so much for me. Being a 51-year-old featherweight female is not an easy place to be at Thomastown. And it's awesome. And as I said, I mean, it shows the maturity and the level of skill that you have, that you can, match pretty much anyone's pace, really.
Yeah.
Including my snail pace. So yeah, appreciate that so much.
Well, I appreciate that as well. But I'm genuinely trying to move, Kim. Trust me. You just slow me down, so it's good. It's really good.
Mate, we're going to get into the super fights and all that sort of stuff. But before we do, you've copped injuries, mate. You copped them early. You copped them when you were young. How did you deal with the setbacks of those injuries? Because from the outside looking at you during those times, you basically just didn't care.
Yeah, just that's a really big one actually. Injuries. Because I've had so many.
Yeah.
I've had, I think, 5 surgeries. 2 on this knee, one. Yeah, about 5 or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's definitely been a huge learning curve. And that's kind of really helped with my maturity. And at the same time, even though it's a really bad thing to have that many injuries, it has like made me who I am. And I think that relentless like pressure I'm able to put on, people when I have super fights, that's kind of like that never die attitude, like that kind of never give up. And Link sets a really good example of that. You know what I mean? Like he's had so many injuries under the sun as well, and I'm really grateful to have him kind of guide me through those. As much as I probably didn't listen to him when I was younger, like you said, I didn't care. Yeah, because I was a young kid. Oh, I've got an injury. Who cares? I'll just train through it. Or oh, I just came off surgery. Whatever. I'll just train. And really funny story. Not funny, but pretty bad story. Is this was probably the big one before COVID, or no, after COVID, after lockdown. So during lockdown, even just a little bit before lockdown, I had a surgery on my knee just to clean out, nothing crazy. And then back to back, I had surgery on my thumb because I tore my ligament between here. You probably can't see it, but there's like a little scar there. Yeah. And I had to wear a glove. And this was like the first session back. I remember first session back from lockdown. So we did a bunch of classes that weren't contact. I don't know if you guys remember that. So it was basically just like an hour of sprawling, you know. No, it was technique as well. And then we came back, and I remember. I don't know if you guys remember JBC, Josh. Yeah, so we would have competitive rounds. Like he'd give it to me, but
Yeah.
it was an exciting round. I was excited for those rounds.
Yeah.
And I had a glove on because I was protecting the surgery that I just had. And I was so excited. I was like, "Oh, we're back to rolling. That's so good." And Link told me. I remember him telling me, he's like, "Juzzy, you know, you're back to rolling. I know you're excited. You've just come off a surgery, 2 surgeries, one on your knee, one on your thumb. Like, you need to be careful. Just please take it easy today." All right, I took it easy for the first round. Cool. Second round, JBC starts off pretty slow, picks up, picks up, picks up. 2 competitive teenagers going at it, and I remember my glove got stuck, and I couldn't post. Landed on my collarbone and broke it. So it was one of those like really tough learning curves where I was like, wow, I just came off 2 surgeries, COVID, not being able to roll for so long, and I've just injured myself again. And like you said, it was kind of like a really tough time where I was like, maybe I'm just not built for this sport, and maybe I'm just not, you know, strong enough to handle, being competitive in this sport. But then I guess it kind of made me look back, was I doing everything I could to put myself back in a position to be competitive, to be the strongest I can be physically, so that I can come off an injury and go back to where I was, and I wasn't. See, like you said, I didn't care. Yeah, like I just kept rolling. So as the injuries came, I think I became more and more mature in my approach to come back to full time training and being competitive. And I think that's something that a lot of people miss out on, especially younger audiences. So if you're a younger person, you're listening now, and you think, oh, I'm just too tough for that. Who cares? I'm just going to send it. Trust me, no one's too tough for that. The tough thing to do is to get into the rehab and do that diligently. And trust me, even though it doesn't feel like it, it pays off in the end. So yeah, injuries has been a big learning curve, and I'm actually very thankful for those injuries, as much as it sucked. So yeah, that's the whole story behind it.
And what about now? So what's a typical week look like for you? Do you just train jiu-jitsu, or are you strength and conditioning as well? Are you doing other things? What else?
Yeah, so definitely, like obviously life gets in the way, so you can't, hit your gym sessions 3 times a week, every single week. But a minimum of 1 or 2 a week is plenty, just to kind of keep the muscles that need to be supported, firing, as well as the jits, and then bit of recovery here and there, sauna, that kind of stuff. Let the body wind down on those days that you're not training hard. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Yeah.
It's a good plan, mate. The longevity in the sport, I think, is one of the most important things. Hey, so you want to be doing this for a long time. All right, mate. This is the time we've been waiting for. Let's talk about your comp game, super fights, and international stuff. So, take us through a couple of your favourite moments, mate. That's probably the best way. And then leave the FFC stuff for last, eh? So talk us through some of the local stuff. So whether it's Pampax or nationals, and then competing overseas. What have you found? What did you enjoy? What are matches that have stood out?
Well, definitely has to be the first time I went to Worlds. That's probably one of the standout ones. Like being able to see that like atmosphere, and obviously you've been there. You guys have been like on the big stage, Masters Worlds. It's so much bigger and more grand than like a grappling industries. So you go to grappling industries for the first time, you think, oh, this is I have to win this. This is like a world championship. No, it's not even close. So that first experience, like going out there and walking out and like having this big stadium crowd, it's like wow. Like you see that stuff for like NBA, games. You see that stuff for like at the MCG for footy, and you to see that in such in a sport like jiu-jitsu where almost anyone can compete. It was like wow. It was just amazing. And then I was a blue belt all the time, and I think I won my first match at medium heavy, which is a heavy division. Like I said, I was a big boy, and these guys were way taller than me, and I was like, yeah, this is where I belong. This is where I am. Yeah, that made me really like decide like jitsu's for me for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
that's
actually,
cool.
I have competed at Worlds as well. I went as a purple belt about 10
Yeah.
years ago. And even if you don't compete, I reckon everyone should go, even as a spectator, at least once to the
Yes.
pyramid, to Worlds, because like you said, yeah, the atmosphere is kind of hard to describe, but
Yes.
you can almost not have a conversation with the person next to you. Sometimes you can't be heard because the
Exactly right.
atmosphere is so, especially when those black belts are on, like
It's
if
crazy.
any of our listeners, if you can get out there, especially now, they have like the North American Masters at the same time. They have
Yes.
other events at the same time. So I really recommend, if you love jiu-jitsu, try and get to the Worlds just to be there and be a part of it, because as you said, it's amazing. Like nothing compares.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. That's like even if you don't train, like you said, but if you do train, you don't compete, have to be there. Have to experience it at least once. It's just once in a lifetime experience for sure. Yeah.
Then Kim mentioned it in the profile, mate. You are the FFC under 70 kilo combat jiu-jitsu. We'll just say world champ because it's our world, right? So the champ. You defended the title recently. Tell us about the lead up into like the first FFCs that you sort of competed in,
Yeah.
and then take us through, winning the belt and then defending the belt, mate.
Yeah. So, big lead up, and it feels like I think it's been 5 matches, 5 super fights, and it's happened so quick. But then I look back at some of the photos, I'm like, wow, that was me. And I was competing at like 85 kilos. Now I'm under 70 kilos, and it's all happened so quick. But yeah, the first one was actually meant to be a jiu-jitsu match. I wanted to get into jiu-jitsu. Yeah. That was what me and Link were kind of discussing, like, hey, you're doing well competitively locally. Like we've been internationally a couple of times. Like you've done pretty well. Like time to build your profile. Time to get some super fights going. And I remember watching him on I can't remember the name. Boa?
It was Boa, yeah.
Boa 8, yes. Him and I think Ivan was on the same one where Ivan almost flying triangled someone, which is pretty cool. I remember watching that, I'm like, this would be amazing. Like I got excited and I wasn't even like booked in or anything. I was like, this would be cool to just do once. And then I think I had a jiu-jitsu match booked in for FFC and it fell through. I think I got injured. I can't remember exactly how, but I got injured, which is typical Juzzy. And then Mateo, the organizer of FFC, offered Link a combat jiu-jitsu fight for me. And I was 18 at the time, so I was just barely legal to do those. And Link's, umming and ahhing about it, like, like your style suits it. Like you're very top heavy, so it's very, very good for combat jiu-jitsu. Let's give it a go. Let's see if you can show off some jits, and then maybe we can start working some jiu-jitsu only matches after. So yeah, I jumped into it, and I'm like, cool, it's exciting. I get to, do the thing I wanted to, but except I can slap them and they can slap me. So a little bit different. And then I remember this really good moment from my first match, and it kind of changed the dynamic of jiu-jitsu for me, just that little bit. I remember I was on top. I just took the guy down, and he was locking me down in half guard, and like Link's like, oh, slap him. Okay, all right. I just kind of gave him like a little tap, slap, like that, and then obviously nothing was happening. I'm like, okay, cool, that was great. And then Link's like, nah, like slap him harder, like it's like hard. And then I'm like, okay. So I wind up, and I have striking experience. I'm like, okay, hit him as hard as I can, cool. And I wind up like a punch, but my hand open, and I hit him really hard, and I see him like kind of look back a little bit. I'm like, okay, that worked. And then I just did it again and again, and then he started to open up. Like his game started to open up. He started to kind of lose his jits a little bit, and then I realized, okay, this is a little bit different, but this is fun. Like this is really, really, really exciting because it allows me, like I said to you guys, it allows me to kind of detangle from my opponent's game. Like I'm stuck there. All right, let's just give a couple of slaps, and now they're a bit, what's the word, like phased. They let go of their game, and then I can start working my outside, which was exactly what happened. And I think I hit him a few times that match. And yeah, that's kind of where it started, which was pretty crazy. Yeah. And then on the championship one, it's just been more and more surreal every time. Like you guys have been there. Like every time Mateo's done such a good job, every single FFC afterwards, the atmosphere is just incredible. Like I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if you guys can describe it, but it's just insane. Yeah.
Yeah. And that time when you couldn't get your rashi off, and then you got it off
Yeah.
and you flung it into the roof. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's been so many times like that. Like I think one of them was I couldn't get the rashi off. Yeah. So it got stuck, and I was probably sitting there panicking underneath my rashi, kind of like trying to get it off, which was great for the cameras. Me and Brentos have a laugh about that all the time. And I think I remember saying to you, Brentos, like, I faked getting up on the cage because I was scared I was going to fall off. And I'm like, I looked at you, I'm like, no, not this time, not this time. And then the next time, couldn't take my shirt off. You know what? Stuff it. Jump up on the cage. That was cool. And then this most recent time, I had enough of the rashi because it was annoying me. And I took it off and I tried to launch it into the crowd. And it got stuck on the roof part. So I haven't got that back since.
You mentioned a couple of times that your weight has changed a lot. So, yeah, you were a medium heavy when you first started, and now you're a lightweight. Is that something that's happened naturally, or have you deliberately gone there?
I'd like to say a bit of both. I'd like to say as you kind of like mature out, your body kind of starts putting on a bit more muscle mass, start letting out a little bit. But it was definitely the plan with me and Link discussed. Like, if you look back at my prior matches, a lot of the guys I was versing at medium heavy, even middleweight, were a lot bigger than me, like physically, like, and they were filled out. I was kind of had that puppy fat. That's what Link always says. That puppy fat that I always, I still have a little bit of it, but a lot more back then. And it was like, are we really doing everything we can to be in the best spot in our division to give us the best chance at winning? And I thought, all right, let's bring back down the middle, cut down the middle. That was pretty easy. I still had a bunch of puppy fat to lose. And then, yeah, cut down to light. And I guess as that was happening, I was doing it in the cage and I was also doing it in the local scene. And I felt differences in both. I'm like, wow, I feel so much stronger. I feel so much quicker. My game is more applicable. I've even made featherweight one time, which was crazy. Link never thought I would. And I never thought I would. I made 68.8 for an AJP comp. So I thought I was heavier than that when I was born, to be honest. So yeah, so I was shocked, but and Link's shocked as well. But that's kind of how it's progressed. Yeah.
Mate, you were that weight when you were about 13 or something, weren't you, Jazz?
When I was about 13, I was probably about 90 kilos. So almost double. Yeah.
Watching your progression through the jiu-jitsu scene has been phenomenal, mate. I don't know how much you've had, about 5 matches in the cage now.
Yeah.
And you've had a bunch of them where you've had fight of the nights too. And I think just even the fact that you're getting fight of the nights, you're headlining the shows as well. Like, it's not just, you're not like early doors on the card. Like, you headline the last one. You're getting the fight of the nights. It really showcases not just your jiu-jitsu skill, but and your athleticism, but it just shows that you love what you do when you're out there. Like, you just, obviously you want to win, but you're just trying to enjoy yourself the whole time. And I think when you get another opponent like that, it really comes off. And then that's where those fight of the nights come from. Like, one person can try to love it, and show off and have fun. And then one person just wants to be playing real stale, boring jiu-jitsu. But it seems like, your opponents want the same thing. And then that's where these like awesome matches come from, But you putting the pace on, putting yourself out there and doing it over and over again, you're becoming a highlight reel, mate. It's really cool.
Yeah. You put it perfectly. Like, that's my expression of myself out there. That's just how I am. Like, in the gym, you guys see, like, when I'm having a really good scrap with, like, Gab, with Ivan, like Link, I like to just push the pace. I don't like to stop moving. I just want to keep going.
Yeah.
And like that kind of, it gets expressed in the best form when I'm doing super fights. Because the way I like to think of it is, like, you go to your local comps, you might have 3, 4, 5 matches, yeah? And like, as much as you try not to think about them, you think about them. You think about all the matches you have to do, all the people you have to verse. But when a super fight's on, it's compressed down. All the energy is compressed down into one match, and it's really like suits my style to kind of just unleash all that energy into 7 minutes. And um, yeah, Link says it perfectly. Like, he says, for super fights, like, you compete better than you do in the gym. Like, for some reason, you just show up. And when I had that mindset of just being able to send it for 7 minutes, in the cage, I kind of compress that energy into one moment, one match, and I'm able to kind of pull off these, spectacle athletic things, and then not stop moving, because I know that I'm not going to tire myself out. I know that I'm not going to be able to be slowed down. So I just have the confidence to just keep going. And I love every second. I love super fights so much, and the support that Dominance give me, the support that Hooks gives me, the support that everyone gives me. It kind of allows me to show my true self out there, which is like, yeah, such a privilege and so much fun. I can't wait for the next one, So that's the type of feeling I have for them.
Yeah, I've got a theory. I've said it before, that I really feel like people sort of roll like their personality. And I think it's what you're saying that, is happening for you. You mentioned Hooks. Did you want to give them a bit of a shout out?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Hooks have done so much. Like, they sponsor Fusion as well. Like, they help them with all their shorts and the cage and all that stuff. But they've done so much for me, like, promotional wise. Like, made so many clips for me, provided me with so many gis that I've torn apart because I just roll like that all the time. But yeah, no, they have such a good brand, and they help me out so much. So I'm super grateful for them. Yeah.
You are a sponsored athlete, mate, and I think you absolutely deserve it. And Hooks really, I think, have embraced you and your style. And I think Hooks at the moment, it seems like they're a spot. Maybe it's because I see a lot of the Hooks stuff and I'm, friends with a lot of the Hooks athletes, but it seems like they are doing an amazing job on the scene, which is very, very cool. And
Yes.
a lot of their stuff is really good quality stuff. So yeah, shout out to Hooks for sure.
100%. Big shout out. Big shout out.
And probably that the market that Hooks are missing is like middle-aged athletes like me, like us masters athletes. We have a lot of money to buy gis and rashis. So
Yeah,
you only need to be sponsoring older people sometimes, like myself and Kim, to capture the that middle-aged market hook. So if you want, I might be able to find something to sign up with. Just
yeah.
put word.
I'll put a good word in.
Thank you.
I'll put a good word in for sure.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Juzzy, for giving up your time. As I said, we wanted to have you on for ages, and this has been really great to get to know you a little bit more. We just do a little bit of a pop quiz now with a couple of questions Brentos going to ask. You can make answers as short or as long as you like.
Done.
I'm ready.
This Juzzy, iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone.
You're part of the cult from dominance. Strength or flexibility?
Strength.
Yep. Pasta or rice?
Pasta.
Guard pull or takedown?
Takedown.
Yeah, always.
Obvious.
I've been part of that. I've felt that.
Yeah.
Steak or chicken?
Steak.
Gi or no gi?
No gi.
Favorite takedown?
Double leg.
Do you have a favorite sports team?
Collingwood in the AFL.
There you go. All right, we've got 2 more for you, mate. They were very quick. What's your favorite belt you've been at?
Ooh, that is tricky. Blue.
Oh yeah, why's that?
It was the progress from kids yellow to an adult blue, which was a huge jump. It was like, being a yellow belt, which is like middle of the class, there was some higher, some, lower, and you're a kid's belt, you're like, not like super serious. And then I've just jumped up, skipped white belt, and got up to blue, and now I'm ahead of all these adults in the class, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. It puts a lot of expectation, but that expectation was a privilege and kind of allowed me to grow and into that blue belt that I wanted to be. Yeah.
I was going to say that, like, you've grown into that privilege for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
You also worked pretty hard for it, mate. So yeah, absolutely.
On that, Juzzy, do you think that expectation that you were saying you felt at blue, do you think maybe that's why so many blue belts drop off? Like, people quit at blue belt, yeah? A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people quit a blue belt. I think it's definitely like a milestone that it takes a while for a lot of people. Took a while for me, considering all the injuries. And then once you're there, it's like you're set as a blue belt, and you sometimes you lose rounds to white belts. Sometimes you lose rounds to people that are lower ranked to you, less stripes, and that takes a toll. If you start thinking about, from like a winning standpoint, like, oh, I'm a blue belt, I should be beating all these white belts. It starts to lower people's confidence, and they kind of lose interest. Lose that fun spark that I was talking about before. And like I said, that expectation that I had, that was taking a toll on me. I was like, I'm a blue belt and I'm losing all these rounds, But that's what allowed me to grow. That expectation allowed me to grow, because like, you change your mindset to thinking, all right, I don't have to win every round. I can be competitive every round, but as long as I'm trying to learn something every round, that's what makes you better. And that's what makes you a blue belt, being able to, use the rounds for your own personal growth, regardless if you win or lose. And having that maturity, throughout all those years of training allows you to take you out of that one round, because you come in as a white belt and they just want to kill each other most of the time. But being a blue belt is having that round and then using it and growing from that round, not just trying to win every round. That made blue belt so special for me, and I've used that at purple belt now, and I'll continue to use that until I'm black belt. Yeah.
It's beautifully said, mate.
Thank you, mate.
We've got a couple more for you.
Yep.
These last 2 will dictate whether this podcast goes out. I'm a bit worried, to be honest with you. The first one, mate.
No pressure.
Can you drive a manual car?
Yes, I can.
Legend. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And do you wear Crocs?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
We'll release half of it, Kim.
The second half.
Not a fan of Crocs?
Yeah,
no. What are you doing? You young bloke wearing your Crocs.
Well, I don't wear them at the gym.
See this?
You see me, I don't wear them at the gym, but I wear them on holidays.
Holidays are different when no one can see you, mate. That's okay.
That's right. That's why I wear them on holidays.
Look, now, I think props that he can drive a manual car. Not many people under 30 can drive a manual car anymore. So, yeah, I think
my mum was very adamant on me doing that.
Yeah.
Just in case, I don't know, some sort of zombie apocalypse or something, and the only car available is a manual car, and I can drive it. So
This guy said before, mate, you have a very good family.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. You want to do the wrap up, Brentos? Thanks
I
again,
will.
Juzzy. That was awesome.
No, thank you, guys.
Well, guys, thank you for listening to another episode of Roll or Die. This one for me was a privilege to have you on, Juzzy. So truly, mate, thank you for coming on. It's been cool having a chat, having a laugh, reminiscing about the silly things that we do when we were kids, and you just sort of showcasing the highlights of how much fun you can have when you're 18, 19, you're traveling overseas and you're doing these things that very, very few people get the privilege to be able to do, mate. So thanks for coming on and sharing those stories. We appreciate it. As I said, guys, hopefully you watched this one on YouTube. If you didn't, just jump back in, even if it's for 15 minutes, and check that eye out. It's magnificent. It's magnificent.
Yeah, it's a work of art, I think.
It's a work of art. But that's it for another episode of Roll or Die. Please remember to like, rate, and share the podcast as broadly as you can. We appreciate it. Tag your friends, tag your teammates, tag your parents, tell them to get their kids into jiu-jitsu. And you never know, you could end up being like a superstar like Juzzy Robertson. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Love. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye.